Mr. Gordhan, who's the Minister of Public Enterprises. Of course, he's being cross-examined today by Tom Moyane, and of course that's happening through his advocate, Dali Mpofu. My colleague Mbalenhle Mthethwa has been observing proceedings today, and she's with me in studio. Thanks very much, Mbali, for joining us. So, as I say, a very tense situation between the two men. Of course, they have both belonged to the ANC. When I say the two men, I'm talking about Pravin Gordhan and Dali Mpofu, and so therefore, it's not like Advocate Mpofu is somebody that he doesn't know, that is, Pravin Gordhan doesn't know. So there seemed to be quite a bit of tension there, not to mention the tension that was already there between Tom Moyane and Pravin Gordhan when he says, of course, he was the finance minister and Tom Moyane was the commissioner of SARS.
Yes, indeed. We also heard the minister just talking about the hostility that existed between himself and the former SARS Commissioner. And we know that this is a feud or something that has been, or conflict that has been going on for a number of years now. I think we can actually date it as far back as the SARS Commission of Inquiry, where we saw the friction in the relationship or the strained relationship between the two. We remember when the lawyers representing Moyane appeared before the SARS Commission of Inquiry, where they asked and they questioned Judge Nugent at the time as to why he met with Minister Pravin Gordhan prior to the commission essentially starting or kick-starting in Pretoria. So this has been ongoing, and this also just really stems from those criminal charges that were laid by the former SARS Commissioner against Minister Pravin Gordhan. This was relating to that early payout of, at the time, Deputy SARS Commissioner Ivan Pilay's pension payout. And essentially, we've heard the Minister Pravin Gordhan, saying that this was all part of a ploy. The criminal charges, to be exact, were part of a ploy to force him and to pressure him into resigning from his position. And this was also intended to pave the way for someone who would be more willing to facilitate the state capture project. And we understand that after his appearance before the State Capture Commission of Inquiry in March of 2019, we saw Moyane's legal team coming before the commission twice to actually ask and make that application to cross-examine Minister Pravin Gordhan. And as we have seen today, we've seen a number of delays, a few delays this morning. The proceedings did start at 10 a.m. However, because the original witness evidence leader who was supposed to lead this testimony couldn't appear today, but we had a new evidence leader, and we had that 1 hour adjournment for that evidence leader to just familiarize himself with the affidavit, supplementary affidavit that has been presented to the commission by Minister Pravin Gordhan. And for the first part, after 11:30, we saw him being led on that affidavit, and that is where he actually made those pronouncements and those comments where he maintains that the former SARS Commissioner did abuse the legal process by laying those criminal charges, given the fact that, he was furthering his own personal interests, and this was all in an effort to advance the state capture project.
Do you think that the proceedings are going to go that far today? I'm sure they must be maybe on half a page down in the affidavit or page 2, because there was a lot of toing and froing, and Advocate Mpofu insisting that he wants yes or no answers, and Minister Gordhan wanting to give clarification, so to speak, and not willing to give those yes or no answers. It seems to me that it's going to be quite a tough one for them to get through the matter at hand.
It seems so from where I'm sitting. We've seen testimony before the Commission of Inquiry being intended for just a few hours and actually stretching for a longer period. And this might be one of those today. We've seen the back and forth, and we've seen what seems like a very there's tension in the room, and it seems as though, the tension is just playing out in the line of questioning as well as in, the answers and the responses. And, we've also seen the Minister Pravin Gordhan just asking the Commission Chair, Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, to just intervene in the line of questioning and to be allowed or given the opportunity to, give his response and his view and answer the questions to the best of his ability. But, as you've pointed out, and rightly so, the advocate Nugent Report would prefer yes and no answers. We know right now he was just being questioned about actually meeting the Guptas and so on. And the state capture project has thrived. From the evidence we've heard before the commission is that such that the project thrived based on the people who were put in these key positions, and most of them had gone to prior meetings before being appointed to those positions, that had meetings with the Gupta family prior to their appointment. This was so that they knew what exactly to do and how they had to, facilitate the capture project. And you see that suggestion in the line of questioning right now. And we've also heard Minister Pravin Gordhan just challenging the commission to invite Moyane to actually testify before the Commission of Inquiry. And this is so that, he can also answer to the questions and to the allegations that have been made by previous witnesses, such as Pravin Gordhan implicating him in the state capture project and so on. But we know that he hasn't been invited, he hasn't been summoned, or he hasn't been called to obviously testify before the Commission. And this also just speaks to the fact that, the evidence that's been heard at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry should always be to, feed into how the project took place and how it happened. And if the evidence that will be given before the Commission will not do that, then they don't invite the witness to come in and testify.
All right, Mbalenhle, we're going to leave it there. My colleague there, Mbalenhle Mthethwa.